Today we're going to review how to file for a limited exemption with the New York State Department of Financial Services for some relief of the cybersecurity regulation known as Part 500. The official name is 23 NYCRR 500. So to file, and all filings must be done electronically, you open up a web browser and you go to www.dfs.ny.gov/about/cybersecurity.htm. As you can see it up here in my browser bar. And when you go there, you're taken to this website. And this is the Department of Financial Services standard website that you've seen before. And as you know, they've had this little button, as you may not know, but as you can see, they have a button here that says Cybersecurity Filing. And when we click on Cybersecurity Filing, we're taken to a login page. Now that login page, you have to already have a login to the system in order to electronically file. If you don't, you can click down here on Create Account. I'll right mouse click and open it in a new tab so that you can see it. But here you would go ahead and create a brand new account. Your name, your first name, your last name, and an email address is required. When you fill this out, you'll receive an email with a temporary password. You'll come back to the DFS site, log in initially with the temporary password, and then change it for a permanent password. And then you'll come back to the login screen. And this is a login screen if you have a password. I'm going to go ahead and log in with our account so that you can see how this works. And we have a reasonably complex password, so I generally remember it. I don't ever remember things on a computer. As a cybersecurity company, as a rule of thumb, I don't keep private or personal information stored locally. When you click Remember Me, you get cookies stored on your computer that if a hacker were to break in or they were to launch some sort of malware on your computer, they can steal those credentials. We never do that, and we certainly don't recommend our clients do that. So I've entered the information and I click Sign In, and I'm not going to save. And you come to this screen. Now, as you can see, today we're going to do notice of exemption, but we're also going to come back to this by February 15th to file our certificate of compliance. And in the event we ever have a cybersecurity incident or near incident that would have affected non-public information, we are also going to submit our cybersecurity events as they happen to the Department of Financial Services as prescribed by the regulation. Everybody must do this. There is nobody that has relief from notifying the Department of Financial Services if you're a covered entity and you have to comply. So today we're going to go for a notice of exemption. And I click on notice of exemption and it takes you to this screen. Now here is where you're going to look up your organization. For our outsourced clients, we file on their behalf if they want us to, and they filled out a proxy for us to do that. Today, I'm just going to run through a sample. I am not going to save it because I am not going to do it for any company in particular. I'm going to do it for just an arbitrary company. I am not going to save it, so I'm not going to be doing this for real, but I want to walk through the steps. So you enter the company name or ID if you happen to know it. I'm just going to type in some random letters, AA. If you notice this, it's searching, and it finds a company. And let's say, for argument's sake, this was our company. It fills in the information that's appropriate to this company so you can, in fact, verify you're dealing with the right company. This is just a sample. And then if this is you and you've identified this as yourself, you're going to click Next. Clicking Next tells you the reasons why you're exempt, one of these reasons. And you're going to check the various reasons that would or would not apply. Again, I am not going to file. We're just going to walk through the steps so you can see this. If you are unclear which part of the regulation applies to you and you click on View Exemption Descriptions, it pops it up with a variety of descriptions for each of those areas of the regulation that you may or may not comply with. As you can see, limited exempt applies to if you have less than 10 employees, or, I love the or over here, less than 5 million in gross annual revenue, or less than 10 million in assets, you enjoy exemption from these parts of the regulation. And our CyberGuard 360 clients know which components they are. We help them through that and say no, they know what they enjoy relief from. There are people that enjoy full relief, meaning they don't have to comply with anything, but they still must file a notice of exemption. And for those organizations that are covered, their employees, in fact, have to file. That's a recent revelation as an interpretation of the regulation by DFS. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. And I'm going to look at this as if an individual were coming here. So they're going to enjoy full relief because they're covered by somebody else. But regardless, whatever you're covered by, you'll put the checkbox next to all of them, not just one. So if you're a covered entity that has under 10 employees, under 5 million in gross revenue, and under 10 million in assets, you're actually going to check all of these boxes. If you only have under 10 employees, you may only check the first one. Under 5 million, this one. I think you get it. We'll just leave this because it's an example anyhow, and I'm not going to be saving it. Once I've determined why I'm exempt, and I've checked that, I click next. And here we'll enter the contact information. Now, I am not going to enter this because the minute I submit this, it goes on file with the DFS. So we're not going to do that. But what happens is when it is submitted, you get back an email, and this is what that email looks like. It is the only notification that you receive, the only confirmation that you've filed for a limited exemption. It is not very clear as to why you filed, what parts of the reg made you limited exempt. It only gives you this confirmation number. Here's the interesting thing. We've spoken to auditors recently for people who have received their first day letter. And the New York State Department of Financial Services is not giving their auditors the information that you filed here. So many auditors are asking that you file a paper-based copy. That notwithstanding, file with them, excuse me, not with DFS. You give them a copy. That notwithstanding, this is the only information you get back from the Department of Financial Services. We strongly encourage you to save a copy as a PDF if you have that capability. If not, to print a copy and save for your records. This is the only copy that you will have. If you don't save a copy, you will no longer have a copy. Confirmation number, if you don't have it, you can't look it up. So that's how easy it is to file. I hope that this was helpful to you. If you have any questions whatsoever and want to reach out to us, feel free to give us a call. Our phone number is 844-315-9882. Again, 844-315-9882. My name is Al Alper, president of Absolute Logic. Our product is CyberGuard 360. Feel free to visit us at www.cyberguard360.com.